God, somebody get me out of this.
Released solely in PAL regions, Shadow Gunner is a rightfully forgotten game on the original PlayStation. Developed by Vertex Multimedia, famed creators of Ultimate Golf Simulation, it's a mech action game where players take on the role of a combat shell tasked with blowing stuff up. This isn't exactly unheard of for mech games. Most of them share the same game design, only I feel the need to point this out with Shadow Gunner because, well, it does it just so badly. Even the game's awkward introduction FMV has an odd way of showing just how things are going to be for people who boot up this game. Problems with this game pop up almost immediately. Shadow Gunner drops you straight into the fray as soon as you start a new game. Enemies immediately begin shooting at you, a target reticle struggles to fix itself on anything, and certain immediate destruction is guaranteed. If you don't manage to turn this game off within a few minutes, I applaud you. You deserve a pat on the back. If you do manage to survive, even just a little bit, you'll find that your combat shell has a rather pitiful selection of weapons at hand. At your disposal is a shoulder cannon. I bring this up first because you'll likely be confused how to even utilize it in your struggle to survive. You'll need to hold its firing button down and set the position in which it'll drop. Ideally, this could be useful if the game wasn't Shadow Gunner. At the rate in which enemies fire down on you, you'll likely never use this unless you can manage to spam an enemy around a corner. The second, and somehow more useless tool at your disposal, is a melee attack. I wouldn't even bother using this. Enemies have outrageously long iframes, some of which they can fire during, and hitting enemies at close range just puts you in front of them, so you're even more vulnerable than you usually are. Your primary fire is a confusing rapid-fire shotgun of some sort. Damage with this weapon seems to be completely random. At times, you'll be firing countless rounds just to take down something like a watchtower, while at others, it'll take half a dozen rounds to take down an enemy that required quadruple that only moments ago. I thought at first that this might have something to do with range, as the icon does show a shotgun, but this isn't the case at all. Damage output truly seems to be completely random. Moving around the battlefield is a complete nightmare. There are buttons to strafe back and forth, but you can't actually fire during this movement. Due to this, you'll be dancing side to side as enemies stand around firing on you. If the lock-on decides to actually work, which it almost never does, you can circle an enemy and gun them down just a little bit easier. However, as I said, the auto-lock in this game never works. Even while you're firing on an enemy, it'll jump around all over the screen as it struggles to prioritize whatever is in front of you. No worries though, as sometimes enemies will just wander off. You do have a wide selection of missions to play through, all separated into 4 levels. Their designs, however, are unsurprisingly as uninspired as the gameplay itself. There really isn't any rhyme or reason to the location of anything. Buildings seem to be placed randomly without any thought towards if things feel at least a little bit plausible. It's a lot of wide open areas with random buildings, walls, and turrets just spread around all over the place. There's a lot of words I could throw out there to describe it, such as rushed and childlike, but I think the kindest descriptor here is amateurish. You'll be bouncing around such interesting areas as winter area, corridor area, and industrial area. Worse yet, enemies are peppered about in some of the worst positioning I've ever seen in a game. You'll have no advantage whatsoever, and often they'll mow you down just due to them being jammed into one central area. For them, the targeting system actually works, so as you're struggling to get a fix on them, they'll already be 10 feet up your ass. Oh, and did I mention that their health pools are enormous, so you'll be firing on them relentlessly without doing too much damage most of the time. You can thank your rapid fire shotgun that has completely random damage values for that one. Hey, if if there's one good thing about this game, the music's pretty okay. I'll give it that. Everything else, including a story, unlockables, all of that, well, it doesn't exist. This was published by Ubisoft, so I guess that's interesting, but I really don't see why. Maybe this was released as a favor to a friend or family member. I don't know, but I'm sorry that PAL Regions had to suffer it. Please like and subscribe if you want to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.